नमामि शरांसा चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले भ्रजमानम्
नमामि शरांसा चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले भ्रजमानम्
যশোদাভিয়নুখলাধাবমানम् পরমৃষ্টমাত্তান ততো দ্রুতগোপ্যা
यशोदाभियनुखलाधावमानम् परमृष्टमातां ततो द्रुतगोप्ता
नमामि सारांसा चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले भजमानम् रुदन्तं मुहुर्नेत्रं युग्मं मृजन्तं करं भुजयुग्मेन शातङ्कनेत्रम्
रुदन्तं मुहुर्नेत्रं युग्मं मृजन्तं करं भुजयुग्मेन शातङ्कनेत्रम्
मुहुशशुकं पुत्रीरेखाङ्ककण्ठ स्थितग्रैव दामोदरं भोक्तिबाधम् नमामि सारांसा चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले भजमानम् इति दृक्षलीलाभिरानन्दकुण्डे सघोषं निमज्जन्तम् अक्षापयन्तम् तदेशितज्ञेषु भक्तैर्जितात्तां पुनः प्रेमतास्तां शतवृत्तिवन्दे नमामि सारांसा चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले भजमानम् वरं देवमोक्षं न मोक्षवधिं वा न चान्नं गृह्णेऽहं वरेषदपीह ईदन्ते गोकुर्नाथ गोपाल बाला सदा मे मनश्शावीरास्तां किमन्यै
ईदन्ते गोकुर्नाथ गोपाल बाला सदा मे मनश्शावीरास्तां किमन्यै
नमामि सारांसा चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले भजमानम् ईदन्ते मुखम्बुजामत्यन्तनीलै वृतं कुन्तलै स्निग्धा रक्तैश्च गोप्या
ईदन्ते मुखम्बुजामत्यन्तनीलै वृतं कुन्तलै स्निग्धा रक्तैश्च गोप्या
मुहुश्चुम्बितं बिम्बारक्ताधरं मे मनश्शावीरास्तामलं लक्ष्यलाभै
मुहुश्चुम्बितं बिम्बारक्ताधरं
Namami Saranagati Chidananda Rupa Lasat Kundalam Gokule Bhajamana Namo Devo Damodaraya Ananta Vishnu Proshida Prabhu Dukha Jalabhimagna
Namo Devo Damodara Ananta Vishnu Prasila Prabhu Dukha Jalabhimana
Kripa Drishti Vrishtapi Dinang Batanu Grihane Shamamaga Medhakshi Drishya
Vipagishti Vishati Dinam Bhatano Vihane Samamaka Medhakshi Disha
Namami Sharamsa Chidananda Rupa Lasat Kundalam Gokule Bhajamana Kuberatmajo Baddha Murtaiva Jadvat Tayamachito Bhakti Bhajo Krito Cha
Vyatmaja Bhagda Murtaiva Jatva Tayam Chito Bhakti Bhajo Krito
तथा प्रेम भक्ति शतां मे प्रयच्छ न मोक्षे ग्रह मे स्ति दामोदरेहा
Tata Prema Bhakti Sharanagati Prajacha Namaste Brahmesti Damodarena
नमः शारां सा चिदानंद रूपा लसत् कुंडलं गोकुले भजमाना नमस्ते स्तुदामने स्फुरदीप्तिधाम्ने तदीयोदरायथ विश्वस्य धाम्ने
Namaste Sudhamne Suradipti Dhamne Tadyadarayata Vishwasadhamne
नमो राधिकाय तदीय प्रियाय नमो अनंत लीलाय देवाय तुभ्याम्
Namo Radhikaya Kaviyapiyaya Namo Nandalilaya Devaya Tugam
नमामि शारांसा चिदानंद रूपा लसत् कुंडलं गोकुले भजमाना नमामि शारांसा चिदानंद रूपा लसत् कुंडलं गोकुले भजमाना नमामि शारांसा चिदानंद रूपा लसत् कुंडलं गोकुले भजमाना
Hare Krishna and welcome to all the devotees for our second session, the 6 limbs of Saranagati, of surrender. We'd like to thank everyone for your association and attendance, even though we love to be with everyone personally so that we can see each other and associate on that level, but still we will associate online and discussing this topic of surrender. Om Ajnanatimivandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utaparakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Vada Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhani Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavinebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesa Sunyavadi Pastyatya Dasatavine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So let us cover some feedback from the devotees, what you took away from yesterday's session. If you like to unmute, you can also unmute, and you can also type in the chat what you took yesterday, something that you learned, something that you want to memorize, that you want to take home, and make it part of your Krishna conscious life. What did you take with you?
Prabhu, I think if I can, what resonated with me yesterday was when Draupadi had to surrender, when she only used one hand and Krishna didn't respond, but when she did with two hands, then that's when she fully surrendered to Krishna. That's what resonated with me.
Yes. So, and it's not that Krishna didn't accept that, but Krishna wants more. Krishna wants, more than just half of our side. He, half of part of our side. He wants our full surrender. He wants us. He doesn't just want our hand, one hand, half, emotion, half a heart. It's like when you tell someone, you can love me half-heartedly. No, don't love me half-heartedly. Love me with your full heart. So same way. In fact, it is also described that when she called Krishna and Krishna came to help, then afterwards she questioned Krishna, why you were so late? You should have come a little earlier. So Krishna started explaining to her that first, hold on, first you looked at Bhim. So you waited for Bhim to come and respond. So I couldn't interfere. You call Bhim, then you call Arjuna, then you call the rest of the partners, then you call Bhishma. So I waited, and then you said, oh, hey, Dwarkadish. So now if you're calling Dwarkadish, I'm in your heart, right? I'm right there. I could have come, but then you called Dwarka, so I had to come right away all the way from Dwarka I had to come. So Krishna does these pastimes to really demonstrate that yes, when we have firm faith and understand, like we mentioned yesterday, to understand Krishna in truth, that is not easy, and that will take some time. And once we understand Krishna in truth, then Krishna will test that. Are you really, do you truthfully know exactly who I am? So definitely wonderful point. Mother Lorraine says, surrender is difficult, but happens in a minute. Yes, and it can happen in a minute if you choose to. And it can take millions and millions and millions of lifetimes if we choose. It's really up to us. You can't force someone to love. But if you want to love someone, then you're free. So that is why we try to learn more about Krishna so that we can fall in love with Krishna. Because that's for our best welfare. Mother says, surrender means to consider oneself lower than the stool of a hawk. Very, very difficult, to really realize that or accept that. Like, really? I mean, I'm low, but not that low. Mother Aratna Lekha Gopi, you can.
Okay. Hare Krishna Prabhu. So the meaning of Saranagati, as far as I understood, is unlike the meaning of the, the English scripture, English philosophies of the different religious groups. It means coming for shelter willingly and lovingly, according to Vedic literature. But surrender, according to the English dictionary, is exploitation and torture. So that's what I got from your lecture. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yes, I'll need to see what the English dictionary says about surrender. Or that was, what I explained in terms of what generally people's mundane conception is of surrender. Because when you tell people surrender to the guru, surrender to the devotees, surrender to Krishna, nah, like you're taking my freedom away. I need my freedom, so just leave me alone. But yes, it's really coming to take shelter. And for someone that in the Vedic system, even a Kshatriya, if someone comes to a Kshatriya for shelter, consider even Kali came to Maharaj Parikshit for shelter. And Maharaj Parikshit was going to chastise Kali. Kali said, no, I'm coming for shelter. And the duty of a king is to give shelter to anyone that falls at his feet. And Kali and Maharaj Parikshit was duty bound to give Kali shelter. Unfortunately, there was no place for him to stay. So then, because he said, where there's meat eating, illicit sex, gambling, intoxication, you can stay there. But there's no, you're ruling the kingdom, you are Mahabhagavat. So Raj Rishi, so there's no place. And he said, okay, in gold. And that's how Kali went into the crown and resided there and influenced Maharaj Parikshit. Sharina says, humility to understand we are nothing, but Krishna is everything. Wonderful. Bafana Prabhu, the moment of surrender is not when life is over, it's when it begins. Biblical invocation, similar calls for surrender. True, I tell you, unless you change and become like children. Yes, nutshell, the surrender in the context of Krishna consciousness is based on love, without which it can not happen. And it's through knowledge that love comes into being. Wonderful. All right, thank you very much for your feedback. Let us proceed. So surrender or Sharanagati, Shalomi says surrender is only attainable via humility. Yes. Now, if you consider this aspect of raising a flag, because that's generally when especially in a battle, when you're losing and now you want to give up, you want to surrender, you raise a flag. So when you raise a flag, it's really telling the opposite, your enemy, who now you want to give yourself to, that I give up. And that flag is saying, I am ready to give myself to you, and I'm ready to do what you want me to do. Even though unwillingly, but I can understand that the odds are against me, and therefore I will surrender to you. I will follow your dictation. Whatever you want, I will do. That is generally the aspect of surrender. So we also eventually need to raise our flag to Krishna. My Lord, okay, I give up. I surrender. And what does that mean? I am ready to give myself to you, and I am ready to do what you want me to do. So this is surrender. And Krishna, he does not exploit, but he'll be very, very happy that you want to please him. So we're going to build over the next 6 days, we're going to build this puzzle of Sharanagati. Many of you already shared this point that I am useless, humility. I need Sri Krishna in every respect, childlike attitude that we need to develop. There's 6 limbs to surrender. And we also need to employ all our abilities in the service of Krishna. That is also an aspect of surrender, that I use everything in the service of Krishna. So today in session 2, we're going to be covering the first limb of Saranagati, accept things favorable for discharging devotional service. For this relationship to start building and manifesting in relation to Krishna, I start accepting things which are conducive, which are favorable for our relationship. Just like in any relationship between a couple, if we want a relationship to be stronger, we would do things which builds trust, which strengthens the bond. So similarly, accepting things favorable, this is very, very important for us to build our relationship with Krishna. Yesterday also there was a question in terms of, what do I do to strengthen this relationship? And it starts off with our desire. When we educate ourselves, Prabhupada is sharing his wisdom. And once we receive the wisdom from Srila Prabhupada, he opens our eyes, Om Jnanati Mirandasya. He opens our eyes which are blinded. And he gives us a different view of the world. In this way, it sparks a desire to surrender. So when you're interested in surrendering, when you have that desire, then the Lord makes arrangements. That's the beauty. Krishna is not dead. Krishna is well alive, and he's interested in anyone that is sincerely seeking his shelter. As soon as someone is seeking Krishna's shelter, he makes all the arrangements. And I'm going to play a video to illustrate and show you how Krishna will make arrangements. It may seem like we doing things. That is also an aspect of Saranagati, that we understand Krishna is the doer. Krishna is making everything happen. Even we gave the example of Arjuna, that Arjuna, he had the ability to fight the battle of Kurukshetra. But when Krishna left this world, even some coward men defeated Arjuna because Krishna was not there with him. And Arjuna realized that it is Krishna that gives me the ability, and it's Krishna can take the ability away. Therefore, whatever we do, we should never become proud, never become puffed up, never think I'm doing everything. No, it is by Krishna's mercy, it is by the spiritual master's mercy that he's empowering me, he's giving me the ability to render this service. Thank you, Krishna. Right? So that is Saranagati. So let's hear this, see this wonderful video. It's about 5 minutes that illustrates the point of, as soon as you have a desire, Krishna will make the arrangements.
In 2003, I was about to join the temple in 15 days or 20 days. We went to book distribution program because it was a marathon time. And me and our senior devotees were leading. We had that Food for Life vehicles. They look like a temple. The front, there will be seating space for 4 or 5 people, and backside there is a storage space. Akshay Patra vehicles, old. It was at that time Food for Life. So we packed the books, everything inside, and we were going to Raichur. From Bangalore to Raichur we were going. It was generally overnight journey, 8 hours journey. If you travel in Andhra Road, you have to come through Anantapur, and if you proceed in that, it was 8 hours journey. So we had a vehicle with Andhra permit, but we did not take that vehicle. We took some other vehicle which has no Andhra permit. So we had to go through Karnataka road only. So in the morning also we had not reached half distance. Roads were so horrible. And we had to cover a patch of 120 kilometers. And it took 4.5 hours for us to cover that 120 kilometers patch. The road was so horrible, means you can go only 20-30 speed. So at around 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the evening, we landed up in some junction, some village. We were asking people how to go in which direction, because in a junction, which road to take up so that you will be able to go faster. So at that time, suddenly one person came and knocked on the door, the front door. So I was there and one more devotee was there, and we opened the door and he asked him, "Sir, I wanted one Bhagavad Gita." So we were wondering, there was no advertisement that this is an Akshay Patra vehicle, and there is no advertisement that it has Bhagavad Gita. So anyhow, we stopped and we got down and we opened the thing and we gave one Bhagavad Gita to him. Then we started asking him, "How did you know that this vehicle is here and there is Bhagavad Gita inside it?" He said, "For last many days I was desiring to have a Bhagavad Gita. Yesterday night I had a dream that tomorrow, so and so time, vehicle will be coming there and standing. You go and knock the door, you'll get Bhagavad Gita here." So we were wondering why Lord is taking us through this route and why we are wasting our time whole day. 6:30 we had reached the location where everything is closed. It was dark. We could not do preaching of doing book distribution. Lord said, "No, one sincere devotee is waiting. Go and give him first Bhagavad Gita. Then you can do your duty later." So we think we are all doing. Then Lord is actually doing many things and all. That personal experience, susukum kartum avyayam. And by doing it, you will enjoy and you will be able to experience the Lord's activities in your life. How he is molding, how he is directing, how he is communicating things, so that you will be able to get connected to him. You should be able to feel him in your life. So this is what you will have, that connection. Through Prabhupada, faster things happen. Individually it will not happen. It may happen to a slower extent. But when we act on behalf of Prabhupada, miracles can be expected.
So kindly help me. This is my request. Print as many books in as many languages and distribute throughout the whole world. Then Krishna consciousness movement will automatically increase. So we have to simply take instruction from Guru, and if we execute that to our heart and soul, that is success. It is practical. I have no personal qualification, but I simply try to satisfy my Guru. That's all. My Guru Maharaj asked me that if you get some money, print books. Therefore I am stressing on this point. Where is book? Where is book? Where is book?
That's a wonderful illustration of how Krishna makes the arrangements for someone that's ready to take this next step in surrendering. And Prabhupada, by Prabhupada's mercy, we not only have information how to take that next step, but even how to increase our surrender more and more and more. So we're going to be covering, as we mentioned, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written very simple Bengali songs covering Saranagati. And today we're going to be covering Bhakti Anukko. There's 4 songs that we're going to just read a translation, and we're going to go into one of the songs in a little more detail. So I'm going to go through the translation of the 4 songs. And what I want you to do is see if you could memorize as many of the aspects which are favorable for our surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This first song is Tua Bhakti Anukula. Translations. I will surely execute with utmost care those activities favorable to your pure devotional service. I will feel fondness for those things in this world which are conducive to pure devotion, and with my senses I will engage them in your service. I will carefully listen to all discussions concerning you, and the satisfaction of my eyes will be to behold your divine abode. I will nourish my body with the sacred remnants of your food, and smell the sweet scent of tulsi leaves adorning those offerings. With my hands, I will always execute your service, and I will forever dwell at that place where you abide. I will employ my desires in your devotional service and show anger to those who are envious of you. In this way, all of my propensities and emotions obtain dignity and glory by being favorable to you. I will consider as favorable to your devotional service anything I do which is favorable to your devotees. Bhaktivinoda knows neither religion nor irreligion. He simply prays that all his activities be conducive for pure devotion to you. So we can offer this prayer, oh my mind, don't try to remove your feeling of I. Instead think I am a servant of God. Don't try to remove your feeling of mine, but instead think Krishna is mine. And in this way, if you take on this identity that I am a servant of Krishna and Krishna is mine, then you will want to do whatever is conducive for pure devotion to the Lord in that relationship, as Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is sharing. In the second song, Godruma Dame Bhajana, on the bank of the celestial Ganga, Ganges River, I will dwell in a cottage at Surabi Kunj in Godruma Dam. This land of Godruma is very conducive for performing devotional worship of the Supreme Lord and is non-different from the sacred place called Nandagram, located in the holy district, Mathura. I will put on the garb that is clear, that is dear to the devotees of Lord Gaurasundra, and wear the 12 Vaishnav tilak markings on my body and beautiful beads of tulsi wood around my neck. Then, by planting flowering trees like the Champaka, Bakula, Kadamba, and Tamala, I will make an exclusive grove by my cottage. I will put Madhavi and Malati creepers on the trees, and in this way make a shady bower. I will sow a variety of flowering forests and different kinds of jasmines like Yuti, Jati, and Mali. All these will be present there, arranged in a charming fashion. I will install the Empress Tulsi on an elevated throne on the terrace, then procure all the necessary paraphernalia for having kirtan, such as mridanga drums, kartals, hand cymbals, and gongs, and place them there. So we can meditate on emptying ourselves and let Krishna fill us through all these different devotional activities. And the third song, which we're going to go through a little more detail, but I will go through this third song, Sudha Bhakata Charane Renu, the dust of the lotus feet of the pure devotees. Enthusiastic devotional service and service to the pure devotees of the highest order are the roots of the creeper of devotion. The holy days like Ekadasi and Janmastami are the mother of devotion for those devotees who respect them. Let the holy places of Krishna's pastimes be my places of worship and bless me. May I always visit all the holy places associated with the Leelas of Lord Chaitanya and his devotees. When I hear the sound of the mridanga in my heart, I always desire to join in kirtan. And when I hear the bona fide songs describing Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, my heart dances in ecstasy. Whenever I see the transcendental Sri Vigraha of Radha and Krishna, I am in bliss. For by taking their lordships prasad, we can conquer over material elements. One day, while performing devotional service, while performing devotional practices, I saw my house transform into Goloka Vrindavan. When I take the Chanamrita of the deity, I see the holy Ganges water that come from lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, and my bliss knows no bounds. By seeing the Tulsi tree, my heart feels joy, and Lord Madhava Krishna is also satisfied. When I eat prasad favored by Lord Chaitanya, it is a new life's experience. Lord Chaitanya was very fond of a green vegetable preparation called sak. And this is another song in this book that tells the amazing effects of this type of prasad. Bhaktivinoda concludes by saying, Whoever aims at the stage of enthusiasm for these devotional practices will be supremely blissful wherever he may be. So because you are a soul, your goal should be to meet the super soul through these devotional activities. And the fourth song, Radha Kunda, Tata Kunj Kutir, the cottage in the grove of the bank of Radhakund, the great Govardhan hill, the banks of the Yamuna, Kusum Sarovar, Manasa Ganga, the daughter of Kalindi, the Yamuna, with her many waves, the Vamsi Vat, Gokul, Tira Samira, the trees and the creepers, and the reeds of Vrindavan, the different varieties of colorful birds, the deers, the cooling breeze from the Malayan mountains, the peacocks, the bumblebees, the pastimes with the flute itself, the buffalo horn, bugle, the footprints of cows in the dust of Raja, the rows of blackish rain clouds, springtime, the moon, the conch shell, and the cattails. All these I know to be very conducive for the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. I recognize in them a transcendental stimulus for making the Lord's charming pastimes more intense. I refuse to go anywhere if these stimuli to devotional service are not there. For to abandon them is to abandon life itself. Bhaktivinoda says, please hear me, O Kana. Your entourage and paraphernalia stimulates remembrance of you and are the very source of my life. And in this picture, Krishna is saying, I am listening. All right, so let us quickly see if you could recap as many of the aspects of devotional service mentioned in these 4 songs of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. What is favorable for our devotional kripa and our relationship with the Lord? Okay, let's see if you can quickly share with us as many as you can remember. If you want to unmute, you're most welcome to unmute as well. And please type which ones you could remember. We want to remember all 4 songs and all of them, but let's see which ones you could remember. Collectively, we can recap. Eating Krishna Prasad. So we covered many. Ekadasi, serving the devotees, engage your senses in devotional service, listen to all discussions on the Lord, Kirtan, Tulsi worship, feel fondness for those things conducive to devotional service. Yes, wonderful point. Residing in holy places, worshiping the Ganges, offering flowers, execute service, devotional service, taking Chanamrita, growing the different trees and flowers, accepting Vaishnava attire, tilak, kantimala, dhoti kurta, sari. Bhaktivinoda Thakur knows neither religion nor religion. He simply prays that all his activities be conducive for devotional service. Yes. Make your home a temple, careful listening. Wonderful. All right. Thank you very much for that feedback. So all these activities, the first limb of surrender, Saranagati, accepting things favorable. The more you surrender, the more you will accept all of these activities. Not one, not selective, all. That is Saranagati. As Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, my whole life I want it to be favorable. And Prabhupada has given us all these different activities that we should embrace. It's an integrated surrender, not a solo, not like I'll just do one thing. No, we should do all of them. Okay, and together all of them will nurture and nourish our Bhakti Kripa.
শুদ্ধ ভকত চরণ রেণু ভজনয়ন শুদ্ধ ভকত চরণ রেণু ভজনয়ন ভকত সেবা পরম প্রেমলতি কারণ ভগত সেবা পরম প্রেমলতি কারণ শুদ্ধ ভগত চরণ রেণু ভজনয়ন মাধবতী ভক্তি জননী যতনে পালন করি কৃষ্ণ বসতি বসতি বলি পরময়াদরে
মাধবতী ভক্তি জননী যতনে পালন করি কৃষ্ণ বসতি বসতি বলি পরম আদরে করি
শুদ্ধ ভগত চরণ রেণু ভজনয়ন গৌরয়ামার যে সব স্থানে করিল ভ্রমণ রঙ্গে সে সব স্থান হেরিব আমি প্রণয়ী ভকত সঙ্গে শুদ্ধ ভগত চরণ রেণু ভজনয়ন মৃদঙ্গ বাদ্য শুনিতে মোর অবসর সদা যাচে গৌর বিহিত কীর্তন শুনি আনন্দে হৃদয় নামে
মৃদঙ্গ বাদ্য শুনিতে মন অবসর সদা যাচে গৌর বিহিত কীর্তন শুনি আনন্দে হৃদয় নাচে
শুদ্ধ ভগত চরণ রেণু ভজনয়ন যুগল মূরতি দেখিয়া মোর পরম আনন্দ হয় প্রসাদ সেবা করিতে হয় সকল প্রপঞ্চ যায় ভকত চরণ রেণু ভজন অরুণ। যেদিন গৃহে ভজন দেখি গৃহেতে গোলক চরণ শিব দেখিয়া গঙ্গা সুখনা সীমা
যেদিন গৃহে ভজন দেখি গৃহেতে গোলক চরণ শিব দেখিয়া গঙ্গা সুখনা সীমা
শুদ্ধ ভগত চরণ রেণু ভজন অরুণ। তুলসী দেখি জুড়ায় প্রাণ মাধব তোষণী জানি গৌর প্রিয় সাপ সেবনে জীবন সার্থক মানি।
তুলসী দেখি জুড়ায় প্রাণ মাধব তোষণী জানি গৌর প্রিয় সাপ সেবনে জীবন সার্থক মানি।
শুদ্ধ ভগত চরণ রেণু ভজন অরুণ। ভগতি বিনোদ কৃষ্ণ ভজনে অনুকূল পায় যাহা প্রতি দিবসে পরম সুখে স্বীকার করে তাহা।
ভগতি বিনোদ কৃষ্ণ ভজনে অনুকূল পায় যাহা প্রতি দিবসে পরম সুখে স্বীকার করে তাহা।
শুদ্ধ ভগত চরণ রেণু ভজন অরুণ। শুদ্ধ ভগত চরণ রেণু ভজন অরুণ। হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে।
So we're going to go through this song. Sudabhakata Chanarenu Bhajana Anukula. The dust from the lotus feet of the pure devotee is conducive to devotional service, while service to the Vaishnavas is itself the supreme perfection as well as the root of the tender creeper of divine love. So the dust from the feet of the pure devotees and service to all the Vaishnavas. This is very, very conducive. It is, it nourishes the divine kripa. It is the root of the tender kripa of divine love. So if we want this kripa to really grow and flourish, this kripa of devotion, then these aspects of service, devotional service, but specifically service to the devotees is extremely important. And one aspect of that service is to accept the dust from the lotus feet. Now, devotional service is not just activity. It's not just that we act, we just do things. I offer a flower, I see the deity, I cook a feast, I engage in some practical service. That is part of it. One is the practical activity, and the other is the engagement of our heart, our emotional side. We have to be involved emotionally and physically in every activity. Love is action with a heart. So devotional service is very, very important. It's called devotional service. It's not just service, it's devotional service, service imbued with loving sentiments. So practical service can be there, but how do I get that devotional sentiment? How do I increase my taste for an activity? Because if I'm not emotionally connected to an activity, eventually I'll stop that activity. If I want to constantly engage in an activity, year in, year out, decade after decade, lifetime after lifetime, I need to be engaged emotionally. And that emotional taste, that taste for devotional service comes through the association of devotees, comes through serving the pure devotees and taking the dust, remnants of their lotus feet. There's a wonderful story of a wrestler. This wrestler was carrying an umbrella and seeing this beautiful girl. He didn't want to, he was walking backwards because he didn't want his eyes to not see her beautiful eyes. So he constantly looked at her eyes and had an umbrella protecting her from the sun and the rain. And in this way, he was walking backwards. Ramanujacharya, with his followers, were noticing this interesting scene. And he sent his disciples to go ask this man, what is he doing? So they went and they asked him, what are you doing? Why are you walking backwards with an umbrella? And he said, no, because I don't want to be distracted from seeing her beautiful eyes. So they came back to Ramanujacharya and they told Ramanujacharya. So Ramanujacharya said, go call him. I want to speak to him. It's a very interesting perspective. I want to speak to him. So they brought this wrestler and they asked the wrestler, Ramanujacharya asked the wrestler, so why, he asked the same question, why are you walking backwards with an umbrella? He said, no, because I don't, she's got the most beautiful eyes and I don't want to be distracted. Therefore, I focus my attention on her beautiful eyes and I walk backwards. So then Ramanujacharya said, they are actually more beautiful eyes than the ones she's got. And if I show you, so when Ramanujacharya told this man this, then the man said, no, I don't believe that. Her eyes are the most beautiful in creation. There is no more beautiful eyes than hers. So then Ramanujacharya, he said, okay, if I show you more beautiful eyes than hers, what will you do? And he said that if you can show me more beautiful eyes than hers, then I promise you that I will give up her service and I will dedicate my life to you. So Ramanujacharya said, okay, deal. You come tomorrow 4:30 and I will show you. So the next day he was, he had sleepless night. He was thinking, really, can there be more beautiful eyes than hers? I doubt it. But anyway, let's go. So then the next morning, 4:30, he was there. He was thinking, no one's eyes early in the morning, 4:30, no man's, groggy eyes and things there. No, they can't be more beautiful. So he came to the temple of Ranganath, and Ramanujacharya took him into the temple altar area, and Ramanujacharya prayed to Sri Ranganath that, my Lord, you have the most beautiful eyes. Please show your eyes to this individual. And immediately this man saw the beautiful eyes of Sri Ranganath, and he went into ecstasy. Immediately tears started coming from his eyes. He fell at the feet of Ramanujacharya and he said, you are right. I have never seen such beautiful eyes. I surrender my life to your lotus feet. And he became one of Ramanujacharya's main servants. So service, by the mercy of Ramanujacharya, he was able to see the beautiful eyes of the Lord. On our own, we may not have the strength, but by the blessings that come via the Vaishnavas, via the pure devotees, we are able to see. That is why we serve them. That is why we take the dust from their feet, because we get their blessings. And through their blessings, we are able to access Krishna's beauty. There's also, in relation to why we take the dust. So physically, we take the dust, as well as figuratively, we'll explain a little about the dust. So when the pure devotee traverses the planet, whatever he comes in contact with, he purifies. So when Srila Prabhupada is walking, wherever he is walking, Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet are touching the soil, the ground. That ground is becoming purified. That ground is transforming into a place of pilgrimage by the power of the pure devotee. To illustrate this point, there's a beautiful pastime of Janabai. Janabai, she was in South India. She was a staunch devotee of Lord Vittal. And one day she was doing patties. It was a daily service, but she was doing patties, and she would dry patties, and each time she would put the patties, while she's drying, she's chanting Vittala, 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 and she puts the patties on the wall, and while she's putting the patties on the wall, she's chanting Vittala, constantly chanting Vittala throughout the activities. And that day there was the neighbor lady in the next door neighbor. She was envious of Vittala. So when Janabai would take the patties out that are dry, she would be chanting Vittala and take the patties and put the patties in a basket. This the lady, the next door neighbor lady, would come and take the patties and put it in her basket. And Janabai was taking all the patties, Vittala, 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 put in a basket. And then she noticed, after taking all the patties from the wall, she noticed the basket was empty. So then she looked and she saw the lady taking all the patties. And she said, that's my patties. Why are you taking my patties? And the lady said, no, you can't prove. It's my patties. You can't prove that it's your patties. These were my patties. So this dispute was there. So then they went to the court case in the villages. They have like a court case where they would give their both sides, and then there would be somebody to make a decision. So then it was brought, this case was brought to them. So the judge, he said, oh, I know how to distinguish Janabai's patties from anybody else, because everyone knew Janabai's pure devotion to the Lord through her chanting the names of Krishna. So then he said, all you have to do is take the patties and put it next to your ear, and you'll be able to hear the holy name of Vittala. Because throughout the activities of Janabai, she always chants the name of Vittala, pure devotion. So if you just put a patty, so they took one by one, they took the patties, they put it by the ear, and they could hear Vittala, this is Janabai, Vittala, this is Janabai, Vittala, and this is how they distinguish the patties of Janabai. So this pastime illustrates that just by the patties coming in contact with Janabai and her chanting with loving devotion the names of Vittala, even transformed the patties to resound the holy name of Krishna. Just like yesterday we shared Golkishore Bauji Maharaj, when he would go into a room or a dharamshala, he would transform that even the dharamshala's walls would be chanting. So this is the power of pure devotees of the Lord. So we're going to share another video. This illustrates the power of following the order of the Guru, and especially for us, Srila Prabhupada throughout his books has given us these instructions. For us, our Acharya is Srila Prabhupada. Even though there are many Acharyas in our line that are giving us instructions, we find Srila Prabhupada took all these instructions and digested those instructions, and he now is giving those instructions through his lotus mouth, lotus heart. And if we follow those instructions, it pleases Krishna. It is anukul. It is very, very favorable for our devotional service. So this is a little longer, 11 minutes.
In Srirangam, when Ramanujacharya was personally present, the atmosphere was so lively. All the people there, they used to attend the Ista Goshti of Ramanujacharya, and he used to explain every day, like how we are discussing Bhagavatam, he used to explain about Nalayar Divya Prabandha. So different verses glorifying the Supreme Lord in different places by all the various Alvars. So one day he was explaining about Nammalvar's composition glorifying Lord Srinivasa at Tirumala. When he was explaining one verse, then tears were coming from his eyes. Then all his associates and associates means disciples and people, they were wondering which word of that verse made Acharya cry. So then they were asking Acharya whether this is the word which had made you cry, and what is the internal meaning of that word that made you cry. He said he was feeling for Lord Srinivasa because nobody is doing service for the Lord there. Lord has been neglected. All his sevas were not happening properly, like a systematic way here. Because it was at the top of the hill, not many people visit him, no basic facilities are there. So Lord's service was hampering, not happening as per systematic way. So there were many trees which are giving flowers, and all the flowers are rotting down the floor. Nobody there to pick them up and offer them as a garland to the Lord. So then he requests all his disciples, anyone is there here who can take this commitment, go there and offer the service of offering these flowers to the Lord. Then all the senior devotees, they were putting their head down because they don't want to be sent away. Because there are many reasons for them. Some people are saying, we are very much connected to Lord Ranganatha, we don't want to miss him. Some people are saying, this is a kshetra where we have taken a kshetra sannyasa, we don't want to move out of this kshetra. Then there are some devotees who are very much attached to, not to Ranganatha, but to Ramanujacharya. We can't leave the lotus feet of our Acharya. So like that, when they are all thinking like that, there was one devotee who raises his hand and he says, I want to go and execute your mission. His name was Ananta Suri. As soon as he said this, Ramanujacharya became very happy. He called him forward and he came, paid obeisances, and Ramanujacharya hugged him. And he said, from today your name is Anantalva. So he said, when are you ready to go? He said, the moment you give me permission right now, I am ready to go away. Then other disciples said, no, how you can go away? Your wife is pregnant. It will be difficult for her to climb the hill. He said, what you said is correct. But if the child takes birth, it will be even more difficult for me to climb the hill with a baby child. It is better right now I go away. Just I am here to at the order of the Guru. I am just ready to please my Guru. That is one commitment for me. So both of the wife and husband started walking. They happily climbed the hill. because they got an opportunity to serve their spiritual master. So when they went to the top of the hill, they saw there were many beautiful gardens, flowers and all were there. So he made systematic arrangement. Every day he used to grow so many flowers. He used to cut them. He used to water them. He used to maintain them. Because of his singing and because of his capacity, all the flowers were blooming with highest fragrance. And when they are offered to the Lord, the breeze coming from the altar, people used to become mesmerized. Who used to come to have darshan, the fragrance of the flowers, they were all becoming mesmerized because the water and the chanting, what he is pouring to that ring, as becoming that bhakti is flowering in that flowers. One can experience that flowers in the devotional perspective. But he was thinking now rainy season is there, rains are there, so flowers are there in abundance. When summer comes, all these trees will fade away because there will be no water. Then he thought, I should do one thing. Every day I have to do, before the rainy season ends, I have to build a pond so that the water will be there, so that the entire summer season I can pour water to these trees. So he has taken a commitment, he and his wife will every day dig the pond for such and such time. And nobody else should take part in that service. This is his personal service to the Lord. So she is a pregnant lady and she has to, see, they have decided an area where every day he will be digging, and they have decided an area where she has to dump. So he, with his crowbar, he will be hitting and he will be putting up in a basket, and she has to carry that to a distant place, throw there and come back. She is a pregnant lady. So they have been doing many days. Seeing their sincere endeavor, Lord Srinivasa wanted to help them. He comes as a hunter one day. That lady was carrying all the things. He goes to her and says, you are a pregnant lady. You are not supposed to do all these things and all. He snatches the basket from her and throws away at the respective place, and she comes back. He comes back and gives the empty basket to her. Then when she comes back to husband to take the next basket, husband asks, how faster you came? It is not that you will take long time. No, how is that possible? What happened? Then she says, one hunter came and she said, you are a lady, you are pregnant, you are not supposed to do all this hard work and all. And he took away the basket forcefully from me and he dropped away. Then he said, who is that person? Let me go and see. I will warn him that he should not interfere in our service. So he goes and he sees the hunter there and he says, don't be here, go away from here, do not disturb us. This is a service, wanted to render personal service by us, don't interfere, go away from here. So when he started scolding, that person went away. Again, after some time, again this lady was carrying the basket, again he comes running, takes away that basket, throws away, and again comes back. Like again, that person is disturbing you. Then this time he takes the crowbar and starts running behind that person. So that person is running, hunter is running, Ananta is running. So when they came near the temple, so seeing that this person is slipping away from my hand, he throws the crowbar at that hunter, and the crowbar just brushes the chin of the hunter, and that hunter entered into the temple and vanished. He went inside the temple, he could not find the hunter. Then he thought, the hunter is gone. He has run away from here. Next time he will not come and disturb me. So in the meantime, he went back, and the time for the day of digging has finished, and he went back to garland the flowers. So there was a heap mound. So many flowers were there that he started garlanding them, making them into garlands. In the meantime, Lord thought, let me invite him and make him see what he has done to me. So he inspired the pujari, go and inform Anantalvar to come back immediately. I want to see him. So he goes to the Anantalvar and says, Lord is waiting for you. Please come and give your audience to the Lord. He says, no, I am very busy. I can't come now. He was surprised. Somebody is saying, Lord is calling him, and he is saying, I don't want to come. So again, what to do? Nothing. He is doing. He can't do anything. He went and informed the Lord that he cannot come. It seems he will come only after he finishes making the garland. So then Lord said, go and inform him. Flowers can wait. I do not care if they wilt also, because on time, if you don't knit the flowers, flowers can get faded off. He's saying, don't bother. First, immediately come to me. The flowers can wait. I cannot wait. Tell him to come immediately. Then the messenger came, and Anantalvar said, no, I cannot come. I cannot abandon my Pushpa Kainkarya to the Lord. Let the Lord know I cannot come before I have finished. So then this messenger is perplexed. What to communicate? These two people are playing each other from me. Then again he communicated the message to Lord, and Lord said, for whom is this garland he is trying? If he doesn't come, tell him that I will not accept the garland. Then he came back and told, even if Srinivasa may accept or may not accept, this is on the order of my Guru. I am making this garland. It is up to him if he wants to accept or doesn't accept. I am not here for his service. I am here for the service of my Guru. So when he said that, Lord was becoming angrier. If he is not going to come immediately, ask him to leave my place and go away. And when this message was communicated, the devotee was very calm and cool, Anantalvar. And this messenger was perplexed. How is he so calm and cool? And he was still making his flower garland. He says, how he can ask me to go away? He also came here maybe few thousand years back. I came recently. So how can one visitor send another visitor? Both of us are visitors here. So he doesn't have authority on me. Only if my Acharya says, go away from here, I'll go away. I am committed to my Acharya, not to him. Go and inform him. So when this message was communicated, Srinivasa was very happy. The commitment what he is showing to the order of his Guru. Srinivasa was very pleased. In the meantime, he finished making the garlands. He came to the temple. He thought he has already made anger, Lord made so much anger. He did not want to show his face. He said, let Lord cool down. Once he's cooled down, I'll come back and see his darshan. That day he just wanted to keep the garlands there and go away. So when he was keeping the garland there and going away, then Lord asked him, don't you want to see me? Don't you want to have my darshan? When this word came, then he turned back and he saw the Lord and he saw the chin with blood coming out. And he became, what a service I have done. I have come here to serve the Lord, to please my Guru, and I am here who had damaged the Lord. Okay, if a physical person becomes damaged, I can bring some doctor who can cure this body. And he is aprakrita sharira. Which doctor will I bring him to cure him? What should I do now? And I have done a great disservice to my Guru. My Guru had sent me to take care of the deity. Here I am destroying the deity. So with this mood, he was continuously repenting in front of the Lord and praying to him. Please forgive him. And asking for the Lord, what is the remedy? Then Lord said, bring me the dust of the lotus feet of the devotees and mix it with camphor. That is the only remedy. Then all the devotees there, he collected their dust, mixed it with green camphor, and applied to the Lord. Next moment, that bleeding stopped. Even today, that significance is continued. On the chin, they keep a camphor piece as a mark of devotees' love for the Lord and Lord's love for the devotees. Sri Pada Renu it is called. The camphor what is kept at the chin of the Lord is called Sri Pada Renu, the dust of the lotus feet of the devotees. So in this way, devotees are here on the order of their Guru. So their commitment, their responsibility is great. Acharyas, that's why they are glorified across the world. And since we have taken shelter of the Acharyas, it is our duty to fulfill their desires and to execute the mission of the Lord simultaneously.
So there's many verses that glorify the dust of the lotus feet of the devotees. Srimad Bhagavatam 5:12-12. Jad Bharat advises, O Maj Rahugan, regardless of whether one engages in austerities, performs worship according to scriptural guidelines, takes sannyas, follows religious principles of household life, studies the Vedas, or worships the deities of the natural elements, one can never attain devotion without bathing in the foot dust of pure devotees. So the dust of the pure devotees is of paramount of importance. Additionally, in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya-lila 1660, it is explained, Bhakta Pada Duli, Ara Bhakta Pada Jal, Bhakta Bhukta Sesha, Tinas Sadanera Pala. The dust of the devotees' feet, the water that has washed the devotees' feet, and the devotees' food remnants. Honoring these give one strength to engage in devotional service. There was another pastime of Ramanujacharya. He would go from village to village and give his glorification, Krishna Katha, glorification of the Lord. So he came to one village, and that evening, when he was ready to give his discourse, he noticed nobody came for the program. Nobody came for hearing Krishna Katha. He was wondering, strange, nobody in this village comes for hearing the glories of Krishna. So he asked his servant, he said, I want you to go and find out where these villagers take their water from. So he went and he saw there was a river. So he came back and he said, Guru Maharaj, there's a river here which they take, water from there and they use that. So then Ramanujacharya told his servant, you go and you take bath in that river. So the servant went and took bath in the river and came back. The next day, same time, Ramanujacharya was ready to give Krishna Katha, and this time, the audience, where the Krishna Katha was held, all the villagers assembled, and the servant was surprised. The servant was thinking, Guru Maharaj, yesterday nobody came, today everybody came. How is that possible? So then Ramanujacharya said, yesterday I told you to go bathe in the water. So because of the dust from your feet, touch the water, and they used that water and they drank from that water. They got purified to come and hear Krishna Katha. So this is the power of the dust from the lotus feet of the pure devotees. So we take the dust, which is honoring the dust, as well as rendering of service to the pure devotees. Both is important. Taking the remnants, taking the water that bathes the feet, and taking the dust, as well as practical service by serving the devotees of the Lord. This is extremely purifying and pleasing to the Supreme Lord. There's the beautiful pastime. It's a little long, so I'll just shorten it. Hanuman asked his mother, one time Narad Muni was traveling, and Hanuman inquired about Narad Muni from his mother, and his mother said, oh, Narad Muni is a wonderful singer, a great devotee of the Lord. So Hanuman was very curious to get the blessings of Narad Muni. So when Narad Muni was traveling past his home, immediately he flew and he stopped Narad Muni's path. And he told Narad Muni, you can't pass until you bless me. So Narad Muni said, okay, no problem, I'll bless you, but what blessing you want? So then Hanuman said, you can give me whatever blessings you want. So Narad Muni was thinking, what blessing can I give Hanuman? Because all the demigods gave Hanuman so many blessings. So then Narad Muni told him, okay, you'll be an exceptional singer. So then Hanuman said, will I sing better than you? Narad Muni said, I bless you that you'll sing better than me. You'll be able to play musical instrument and sing better than me. So Hanuman got this blessing, was very happy. And Narad Muni was about to leave, and Hanuman said, wait, how do I know that your blessing is true? You have to test. So Narad Muni said, okay. So he sat down, put his veena down, Hanuman started singing. And Hanuman sang such a beautiful melody and glorification of the Lord that the stone where the veena was placed began to melt, became liquid. And the veena was floating in the liquid stone. Narad Muni had his eyes closed and he was mesmerized by Hanuman singing. And then Hanuman, after a while, he asked Narad Muni, so should I stop? And Narad Muni said, yes. Hanuman said, well, I suggest you open your eyes and then tell me if I should stop. So Narad Muni opened his eyes, he looked at Hanuman and said, yeah, you can stop. He didn't notice that his veena was floating in liquid stone. So then Hanuman stopped. As soon as Hanuman stopped, the stone that was liquefied became solid again, and Narad Muni's veena was stuck. So then Narad Muni said, Hanuman, please, look what you did. Can you, undo my veena? It's stuck in this. Hanuman said, nope. So then Narad Muni said, I'm going to chastise you. He said, nope, I'm going to do anything. So immediately Hanuman started to run. And Narad Muni started to chase Hanuman to get his free his Veena. Hanuman ran into the house and started running all over his monkey. So he's very chanchala, he can run quickly. So he started running in all the places in his home, and Narad Muni started chasing him all over. Eventually, his mother, Hanuman's mother, sees what's happening and comes and says, Hanuman, what you doing? Narad Muni, what's happening? And then they explain. So his mother tells Hanuman, please free Narad Muni's Veena. So Hanuman said, yes, I will definitely do that. I wanted Narad Muni, his lotus feet as a blessing. So I wanted him to bless every part of my house. And therefore, I made this arrangement so that he could run all over and with his dust, bless our house. So because he has blessed our house now, I can free the Veena. So he freed the Veena, and then Hanuman, Narad Muni continued. So Hanuman was very clever like this, to get the dust from the lotus feet of Narad Muni. So service to devotees, this is also very, very, very important. And especially service to, not, yes, service to senior devotees, automatically we get the blessings, but service to the new devotees, service to all the devotees, this is extremely important. And by the service to the spiritual master, the devotees, we get blessings. So there's a beautiful pastime of Ramanujacharya. One time he arranged a seminar to teach Sanskrit and very, very philosophical aspects of the philosophy, the Vedas. And he invited 300 of like the elite, the high class intellectual devotees, philosophically inclined devotees. And every day he started having these very high philosophical seminars, lectures. There was one of his servants, Ramdas, and Ramdas, he was very simple devotee. All he knew was how to serve his Guru Maharaj. So he would wash his Guru's clothes, cook for him, clean his room, all the menial services he was doing. He wasn't a scholar. He really didn't know these things. So he wasn't really interested. For him, his service to his spiritual masters was of paramount of importance. So that is what he did. So on one day, in the afternoon session, the other disciples came to Ramanujacharya and said, it's time for the session. So Ramanujacharya came and he said, where's Ramdas? And they said, oh, Ramdas, he's busy doing some washing. So then Ramanujacharya told these scholars, these devotees that were very scholarly, said, today, call Ramdas. My throat is not, so good. Call Ramdas. So Ramdas came. And Ramdas offered obeisances and says, yes, my Guru Maharaj, what service can I render? And Ramanujacharya said, I want you to give the talk today. And as soon as he said, I want you to give the talk, everyone there laughed. They thought it was a joke. Ramdas giving the talk, I mean, really, like, the last few sessions, even the Guru was giving to us, like scholarly and high, it was difficult to understand. Imagine now Ramdas giving a talk. They thought it was a big joke. Ramdas says, Guru Maharaj, I can't give a talk. I don't know these things. No, I want you to give the talk. If you don't talk, I'm not doing any. You have to give a talk. So he sat down, offered his obeisance, pranam to his spiritual master, and as soon as he offered his obeisance to spiritual master and started to speak, it is described that Saraswati came on his tongue and he started to speak so eloquently. Sanskrit verses, started giving the philosophy. Everyone was mesmerized. In fact, some of the things he was saying went beyond their head, beyond their heads. So this is the power of service to the pure devotees. That by serving them, you can get blessings. And with those blessings, the impossible can become possible. We find in Srila Prabhupada's pastimes, there's so many wonderful pastimes like that, of impossible things become possible just by blessings. So service to the pure devotees, service to the devotees invokes their blessings. It's important that we understand the mission of the spiritual master and the missionaries involved in the mission. Prabhupada, in the purport to the 10th canto in relation to this pastime of Sudama and Krishna. Sudama and Krishna had a wonderful relationship from small. And Krishna shared his remembrance of their relationship when Sudama came to Dwarka. And Krishna shared that, you remember, Sudama, how we were serving in our Guru Maharaj's ashram, and one day he asked us to get wood, and we went to the forest, and it started to rain, and we were lost, and was getting flooded. But we had cut all the pieces of wood, and we started to climb the trees. So very instructive during this challenge where they were lost in the forest and was getting flooded. We see this picture, Krishna and Sudama. They held each other's hand, and on the other side, they held the sticks. So during difficult times, they never forgot the mission of the spiritual master, which was to get wood. At the same time, they never forgot each other and supported each other. So Krishna is showing here that the mission of the spiritual master, the order of the spiritual master is important, as well as the missionaries, the devotees who are serving the mission of the spiritual master are important. Both is important. If we only interested in the mission, then we become impersonal. If we interested only in each other, then we become sentimental. So both needs to be there. The missionary spirit of serving the mission, as well as serving those who are serving the mission. And when the next morning, when Sandipani Muni was going with his disciples to find Krishna and Sudama, and he found them, he was so happy, and he blessed them. And one of the verses, he said, this indeed is the duty of all true disciples, to repay the debt to their spiritual master by offering him with pure hearts their wealth and even their very lives. And in the purport, one engages one's body to realize one's purpose. The body is also the basis of the material conception of I, while one's fortune is the basis of the conception of mind. Thus, by offering everything to the spiritual master, one realizes oneself to be an eternal servant of the Lord. The spiritual master does not exploit the disciple, but rather engages him fully in Krishna consciousness for the disciple's eternal benefit. Prabhupada, and the next in the same series, Sandipani Muni then continues, and he says, you boys are first-class Brahmanas, and I am satisfied with you. May all your desires be fulfilled, and may the Vedic mantras you have learnt never lose their meaning for you in this world or the next. Very, very powerful blessing. Sandipani Muni is blessing them that the philosophy you have learnt, the mantras you have learnt, you will never, the potency of those mantras will never be lost, and you'll always remember them, and you'll always be benefited by them. In the purport, it says cooked food left sitting for 3 hours is called yatayama, indicating that it has lost its taste. And similarly, if a devotee does not remain fixed in Krishna consciousness, the transcendental knowledge that once inspired him on the spiritual path will lose its taste or meaning for him. Thus, Sandipani Muni blessed his disciples that the Vedic mantras which reveal the absolute truth will never lose their meaning for them, but will remain ever fresh in their minds. And Krishna says this is how he was able to speak Bhagavad Gita, because he remembered by this blessing. So the blessings are important, and we see Prabhupada extending his blessings. Here he's giving a cookie to a child. Or every activity that Srila Prabhupada did was to give blessings. We are products of Srila Prabhupada's blessings. We come into Krishna consciousness by Prabhupada's blessings. We grow in Krishna consciousness by Prabhupada's blessings. And we perfect our life in Krishna consciousness by Prabhupada's blessings. So Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, all three are very, very important. The Guru is important, the Sadhus are important, and Shastras are important. And in this way, by all these three aspects, we can make advancement and progress. Then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, I observe with great care the holy days commemorating the pastimes of Lord Madhava, for they are the mother of devotion. As my dwelling place, I choose the greatest of reverence and love, the transcendental abode of Shri Krishna. So all the festival days, like Kartik, Janmastami, Ekadasi, we should observe with great care and attention. This is very, very favorable for Krishna consciousness. These are mother of devotion days. By observing these days, we advance tremendously. One point to note is to not have any family function on one of Krishna's Madhava Titi days. Those days are only for Krishna. Our focus should be on Krishna, not on ourselves. Then all those places where my Lord Gaurasundar traveled for pastimes, I will visit in the company of loving devotees. We see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu travel to many, many places. All the holy dhams. So traveling, going on parikram, where the Lord went, this is very, very conducive for our devotional kripa. My mind ever longs for the opportunity to hear the music of Mridanga. Upon hearing the kind of kirtan ordained by Lord Gaurachandra, my heart dances in ecstasy. So hearing, having kirtan with devotees, sankirtan, chanting, this is very, very conducive. Also, having kirtan that is ordained, Gaura Vihita, that means ordained by Lord Gaurachandra, not just any kirtan. Prem kirtan, Krishna, there's kirtan, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give a unique form of kirtan. That unique form of kirtan is given to this creation 8,600,000,000 years at a time, or after that period. And that is Prem Kirtan, Kirtan that's really infused and imbued with the highest level of devotion of that of Vrindavan, presence of Vrindavan. So that's the Kirtan that we want to hear, we want to be part of. So there is a level you find even, any poem, any song that was composed, the Kirtan that was composed, that would have to go through sort of Dhammadarpa, because you would be able to detect the rasabhas, the mixing of mellows that is incompatible or something that's not right in the Kirtan. For example, if one performs Kirtan for sense gratification or, like a show, those Kirtans are not in line with the Kirtans of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prabhupada said Kirtan is meant not to attract the audience. Kirtan is meant to attract Krishna. It's meant to inspire devotion in the hearts of those that are there, not for any other purpose. Then beholding the deity form of the divine couple, Sri Radha Krishna, I feel the greatest joy. By honoring the Lord's prasad, I conquer over all worldly illusions. So serving the deities, beholding the deities of the Lord, Achavigraha form of Radha and Krishna, honoring the prasadam, these are powerful devotional activities favorable for our bhakti. So in relation to the deity, never consider the deity to be stone, to be wood, to be inanimate. No, the deity is non-different from Krishna. It is Krishna. Krishna is compassionately, kindly coming to us in the form of the deity, so that we can see the deity, we can serve the deity, we can speak to the deity. The deity is not stone. So let's see a wonderful clip in relation to understanding the deity Sri Krishna and appearing to accept our service. So this clip is 7 minutes.
Saranagatam Krishna, Swagatam Krishna, Krishna, Saranagatam Krishna, Swagatam Krishna, 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 Swagatam Krishna.
There is a small village by name Utukkadu. This is a place where Lord Krishna had enacted Kaliya Leela once again here. In that area, Kamadhenu had two daughters, Nandini and Puttu. So there was a nearby Shiva temple. So every day these daughters used to come and they used to pluck flowers and do the seva for Lord Shiva there. So that is in a nearby village. This area was full of forest, which was full of flowering trees. So the two daughters used to come here, pluck flowers and procure all the other ingredients for the worship of Lord Shiva. When they were coming here and trying to pluck all the flowers, and it will take some time. So Narada Muni used to come and sit there and teach to them various stories of Lord Krishna from Bhagavata. So every day they were hearing to Krishna Katha and they were all doing the service. So one day the pastime of Lord Krishna and Kaliya was being explained by Narada Muni. He was explaining how Kaliya is so big, 100 hoods. Krishna was a small boy, 6-year-old or 5-year-old. He jumped into that river. Kaliya bound him with his coils. For 2-3 hours, Krishna was suffocating in the Kaliya's coils. Seeing the pitiable situation of his friends and relatives, Krishna wanted to come back and play around and to show them, assure that he has not been affected. He came out and he got out of the Kaliya and he started dancing on the woods, and how Kaliya was subdued, everything he narrated. But the calves were very much attached to Krishna, thinking that, oh, Kaliya had captured Krishna. How small boy, that big snake you are saying, and it would have been uncomfortable for him, being wrapped up like that. He would have been suffocated and he would have experienced torture like that, and all. They were crying incessantly. Even Narada Muni concluded the story, they were not convinced. They were thinking Krishna is suffering only. Then Narada Muni said, he called their mother, Kamadhenu. She said, see, I tried to convince, they are not being convinced. Now you try. Then Kamadhenu also explained to them. Then they were not convinced. Then Kamadhenu thought, there is no other way to convince them. I had to request Lord Krishna and to give her assurance that he is not hurt. So she prayed to Lord Krishna at that time. And because of her prayer, Lord Krishna appeared there. And she requested, see, my daughters, they were not able to become satisfied of your Kaliya pastime. They were thinking you are affected by the Kaliya. So please do something so that they are normal again. Then Krishna, to assure them, he created a lake, Utukkadu. In that Kadu, Utuhu means water. He made the water come up, the lake come up, and Lord reenacted that pastime, brought the Kaliya back, and he started dancing. And he was showing how he was actually playing around with Kaliya. He was doing time pass with Kaliya for some time. So Krishna was waiting for all the people to come, experience that feeling. Then suddenly Krishna exhibits his opulence and he comes out and he plays so nicely that he started playing flute and started dancing on Kaliya. And he was giving that mesmerizing experience for all the people. From extreme fear to extreme happiness, he was giving an opportunity for devotees to experience, relish that rasa. Then after doing all these things and all, then the daughters became very much satisfied and pacified. Then Narada Muni, who was watching all the circumstances, he prayed to the Lord, Lord, please remain in the same mood here. Then Lord manifested a deity from internal potency. Speciality of this deity is, what is the uniqueness of this deity? See, Kaliya, Krishna. Krishna is dancing on Kaliya. So when he is dancing, one leg will be on the dancing board, another leg will be on the hoods of the Kaliya, and one hand will be in a dancing pose, and another hand he will be holding the tail of Kaliya. This is how he was dancing. So if you see, in this hand also, only first finger is holding the tail. Like this he was holding to the tail. In another hand is like Abhaya Mudra. One leg is in the air in the dancing posture. The another leg is in the hoods of Kaliya. The speciality of this deity is there is a gap between the leg and the hood of Kaliya. You can run a paper in between. How is Krishna standing here? How is he getting the support? Only the finger touch of Kaliya is standing support for the deity, which is practically impossible for us to carve that deity, because it is, if it is not material, it is not material made, it is self-manifested by the Lord. This is the uniqueness of the Lord. In the 18th century, one more famous poet who came there, so he glorified the deity with many Krishna songs. All of you would have heard Swagatam Krishna, Suswagatam Krishna. It was a song sung to the deity. Alai Payude Kanna. This song was also done to the deity.
Alai Payude Kanna en manamiga alai Payude Unnananda Mohana Venugana Madilai.
So we all know that songs, but we never know which was the deity which was being glorified in that song. So that Utukadu Venkatakavi, he was the one who had glorified the deity with many songs.
Seeing the picture of Krishna, he's fighting with the Kaliya serpent. He's dancing. He's not afraid of the serpent. The God is Anandamaya, always jolly, always cheerful. You can become also cheerful when you go back to home.
These are the unique pastimes. Lord is trying to manifest for us to say he is there for his devotees. He can perform anything which is practically impossible. It is not realistic also. Lord is ready to perform so that he will steal our attention.
So Krishna is merciful appearing in the form of deities. There's many deity pastimes that instill faith in us that Krishna is there. Then 6, Goloka Vrindavan appears in my home whenever I see the worship service of Lord Hari taking place there. When I see the Ganga, that river of nectar emanating from the lotus feet of the Lord, my happiness know no bounds. So here Srila Bhakti Thakur is saying, even if the temple is no doubt the abode of Krishna, Mayapur, Vrindavan, but even my home, if I bring Krishna, serve the deity, just like Advaita Acharya, he invited the Lord, he cooked for the Lord, his wife cooked, he offered the bhoga, he served the prasad. In this way, we can transform our house, our home, into a temple, into Goloka Vrindavan, and honoring the Ganga, Chanamrita. These are all auspicious activities for our devotional service. The sight of the holy Tulsi tree soothes my soul, for I know she gives pleasure to Lord Madhava. By tasting the green leafy preparations named Sak, a great favorite of Lord Gauranga's, I consider life worthwhile. Tulsi Devi is Bhakti Devi. She gives bhakti. She's not Bhakti Devi. Bhakti Devi is a different personality, but she gives bhakti. She bestows pure devotional service. And Prabhupada gave us so many instructions on how to worship Tulsi Devi, and the prayers to offer to Tulsi Devi, very exalted prayers, seeking her blessings. So if one sees Tulsi, if one circumambulate Tulsi, if one sows Tulsi, so many benefits, waters Tulsi, inconceivable benefits of serving Tulsi in different ways. One gets so much devotion. She can bless one with so much love and devotion. So it's extremely auspicious to chant in front of Tulsi Devi. So whenever we have opportunities to render and embrace all these activities, we should not let that opportunity go by. When we're rendering these services, it is important to understand that it's not so much the external activity of the service, but the mood in which we are rendering those services. For example, we see King Prataparudra. He was a great king. Yet, in the service of Lord Jagannath, he was sweeping the pathway. What touched Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's heart was the fact that his mood was the mood of humility. Even though he was a big person, but he was happy to take the humble service and the mood of serving. That mood was what attracted Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, attracted him to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Prabhupada, we mentioned about the deity form of the Lord. Even the deity form of Srila Prabhupada is not different from Srila Prabhupada. And we can get blessings. Srila Prabhupada came, performed these pastimes, has given us so much through his physical pastimes. Prakat Lila, while he was here, in form of his lectures, in form of his wonderful memories, pastimes that he performed. Then even in the form of the deity, Srila Prabhupada is still giving blessings. When in early 77, there was a Brahmana from, they had installation of the deities in Hyderabad, and Prabhupada told them that those Brahmanas are very, very, they are true Brahmanas, and therefore they should be served and honored and provided all facility. So one of the head Brahmanas there was Sampat Kumar Bhattacharya. And in early 77, they made a deity of Srila Prabhupada to be sent to all the temples. While Prabhupada was present, generally only when the Acharya leaves do they make the deity. But they made a deity even while Prabhupada was present. And Sampat Kumar Bhattacharya with his own funds, he traveled to Juhu to speak to Prabhupada. And he came to see Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada was very respectful to him, honored him. And he started telling Srila Prabhupada, with good intention, that Prabhupada, this is not good, that you're creating a deity of yourself while you're still here. Anyone that sees your deity form, touches your lotus feet, takes the mercy, you're going to have to take the karma. Right? And therefore it's, very, very, very dangerous for you. You're going to be taking practice, and you're sending the deities all over the, world, and everyone and all the temples are going to, be coming and seeing your deity, and you're going to be taking all their karma. So after Prabhupada let him speak, after he spoke, Prabhupada said, so, when he done, Prabhupada said, so now you've understood, implying that's why I've come. I've come to take everyone's sins, to help them, to purify them. And when Sampat Kumar Bhattacharya heard this, he could understand Prabhupada is no ordinary person. And he circumambulated Srila Prabhupada 3 times and left. So Prabhupada's mercy is extended far beyond what we can even perceive. And then we mentioned about serving Tulsi Devi. Very simple activity. Anyone can water Tulsi Devi. Even a child can water Tulsi Devi. Chant Hare Krishna and water. Very, very powerful spiritual activities. And then finally, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur concludes, whatever Bhaktivinoda Thakur obtains that is favorable for the service of Shri Krishna, he accepts every day with the greatest joy. Concluding, it's really what Krishna wants. In a lecture, Prabhupada says, so Krishna doesn't want anything else. Krishna does not say, give me meat, give me eggs, give me fish. No. He says, Patram Pusham Phalam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati. So if you are a devotee, you cannot take anything which is not offered to Krishna. So Krishna, I should offer to Krishna what he wants. Just like if you want to offer me something, so you inquire that, what shall I offer you? What do you like? So similarly, if you invite Krishna to live in your house or temple, then you should ask Krishna, sir, what can I offer you? Krishna said, Patram Pushvam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati, 926, Bhagavad Gita. Krishna said that, you give me Patram, means vegetables, flowers, fruits, Phalam, fruits, and some liquid, water or milk. Krishna does not say you give me meat or eggs, fish. No, Krishna can eat everything. He's all powerful, but he does not eat. Although he's all powerful, he can eat everything. He can eat fire. That is another thing. But because we have to take prasad, remnants of food stuff, Krishna, therefore, he says, give me this food, grains, milk, or fruits and flowers. Prepared or unprepared, it doesn't matter. Krishna wants that. So far the Vaishnava is concerned, Sometimes they come forward to fight us. Why we should be vegetarian? No. We have no quarrel with non-vegetarians. Let them eat at their risk. But because we recommend you take Krishna Prasad, therefore we must be, you take Krishna Prasad, therefore we must be satisfied with this patram pusham phalam toyam. Nothing more than that. But unfortunately, instead of taking shelter of Krishna, we have taken shelter of lusty desires. This is demonic. And that brings us to the end of this session. The first limb, accepting whatever is anukul, favorable for devotional service. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his 4 songs has covered so many wonderful activities that we can embrace practically. Srila Prabhupada has shared these activities for us in his Bhaktivedanta purports throughout his books, has given them practically to us in his temples across the globe. So for us to follow this path of surrender is very, very, very simple. We simply have to embrace these activities that are favorable. And of all the activities that are favorable, the most important of all of them is chanting the holy name of Krishna. This is the first sign of surrender, is when one starts chanting the holy name of Krishna. So embrace these activities and nourish your devotional kripa and embrace them joyfully. And in this way, our relationship with Krishna will strengthen day by day. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments? You can also unmute yourself if you like to share. All right. So Salami says, who are the pure devotees in this age and time? Are all disciples of Srila Prabhupada and their disciples pure devotees? Wonderful question. So I'd like to share a perspective. It is described that in the mode of ignorance, in the mode of ignorance, in the material world especially, we judge people for their past. For their past. So, oh yeah, he did like this, he's a rascal. Oh yeah, he was a thief. Yeah. So we judge people for their past. Especially the sinful past. In the mode of goodness, we judge people for their present activities. In the mode of pure goodness, we judge people for their future potential. What does that mean? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, Jive Saryapahoy Krishna Nitya Das. Everyone is a servant of Krishna. So a proper perspective is to see everyone not in the mode of ignorance for the past faults, not even in the present what they're doing, but actually see them with the perspective of their potential. And the potential is that everyone is a servant of Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada saw everyone with this potential, that everyone is a servant of Krishna. And because everyone is a servant of Krishna and he saw them with this potential, with this perspective, when he was asked how many pure devotees you have, Prabhupada responded, how many devotees do I have? Because everybody has the potential to become a devotee. Now, yes, to associate with exalted devotees like Srila Prabhupada who are Mahabhagavats, that's wonderful. To be, with new people, it's easy because they're very humble, they listen to you, that's wonderful. The challenge comes when, you're associating with people, peers, friends. That becomes a challenge. But that challenge is also nourishing to your devotional kripa. So advanced devotees are nourishing your bhakti kripa, new devotees nourish your bhakti kripa, and even equals nourish your bhakti kripa. Equals that have the same frequency as you, they nourish your devotional kripa, and devotees that also don't have the same frequency of you, nourish your Bhakti Kripa. You need both. Why? Because if you don't have those that, don't like you, they're inimical, they cause, difficulties and challenges for you, then you will not be able to have the scorecard to test whether you are tolerating, whether you are seeing with different perspective of Krishna conscious perspective, whether you are chanting nicely, whether you are becoming Krishna conscious. You're not going to have that check list or scoreboard. So they help you to see, to test. So therefore you need both. You need all varieties of devotees to associate with, to help you, right? To polish you, to nurture you in devotional service. So we should not really even see whether somebody is advanced or not. Whenever we have an opportunity to serve, we should serve. Yes, we have Srila Prabhupada, we have Tulsi Devi. If you can't see anyone else, at least these two personalities are there. But you can gauge from those who are dedicated to Srila Prabhupada. By serving those devotees who are serving Srila Prabhupada or serving the servants of Srila Prabhupada, even serving them is beneficial. Why? Because Prabhupada is blessing them, and their blessings also filter down. So in this way, we should have the attitude to serve everyone. At the same time, scripture also says that in the beginning stages, it's conducive to associate with those who are like-minded with you. So in that way, until a certain, just like when a creeper is new and it's growing, when it's young, you fence it. So you fence it to make sure that it starts to become stronger and stronger day by day as it's growing. So similarly, we fence ourselves with like-minded association. And then as we advance, we can then extend our service to greater and greater reach. Mother Vishaka Devidasa says, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, pranams. Just wanted to know if you help a senior devotee 100%, but they do not appreciate you. Is it an offense to stop and not give 100%? So it depends on what type of help. So naturally, we need to go into detail in terms of what type of help. I may just give a general answer, but we should always, and this is also part of Saranagati, right? When we serve, we should give without expectation. I'll be talking about this on the last day of Kartik. So the topic is give and not take. There's a wonderful story of a saintly person who was going past a river, and he was actually in water. He was going past a river, and he went in to perform his ablutions, prayers, and he went into the water. And there was a scorpion that was there, drowning. So he decided to help save the scorpion. So he extended his hand to pick up the scorpion. But as soon as he picked up the scorpion bit him, stung him, and the scorpion fell back into the river. He tried to pick up the scorpion again, and the scorpion stung him again. And this happened a few times. And by some of the villagers were passing by the river, and they noticed this. So they told him, "You're such a fool. You can see the scorpion is biting, still you're trying to save the scorpion." So the saintly person responded. He said, it's the nature of the scorpion to bite. And if the scorpion does not give up his nature to bite, why should I give up my nature to extend myself and always serve? If I give up my nature, then the scorpion is better than me. So in this way, even if somebody does not appreciate, even if somebody does not reciprocate, it's okay. You should note and remember one thing: Krishna always will reciprocate. Krishna will always recognize what service you do, even if others do not. Srila Prabhupada will always recognize the service, even if others don't. So in this way, this is very conducive. And yes, if they respond, very good. If they don't respond, no problem, right? And it's not that you have to constantly or continually give service. In some situations, you just don't have the capacity, or due to circumstances, you cannot continue. So then you humbly say, well, I'm unable to. When the circumstances change, I may be able to continue my services. So in this way, it all depends, right? It's not cast in stone. There's different factors that may influence the situation. So I hope that shed some light on that. Bafana Prabhu says, I'm so happy to have come to the knowledge of this personality of Sri Krishna. I'm really grateful to the Vaishnavas for broadcasting broadly this great personality. I'm humbled and touched. Thank you, Bafana Prabhu. We hope that Krishna blesses you unlimitedly so that you can bless others. Vidura Prabhu, in engaging in favorable discharge devotional service, one must be emotionally involved. Yes, because it's not a question of just doing service. No, we find Srila Prabhupada was doing it out of love, out of compassion. So we have to come to that level of service. It's not, oh yeah, let me just do the service and get it done. No, that is not service. That is work. That is job. Service means your heart is involved. You are. It's not about mechanical service. You are serving with love, serving with your heart. That's the appetizer for Krishna. That's what he's looking for. By the way, the externals are there. It's really the internal attitude that Krishna is looking for. Nimesh says, Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you very much. Thank you. Rasaraj Prabhu says, it was a beautiful evening of Krishna Katha and Saranagati with wonderful bhajans. To hear a beautiful bhajan by Srila Bhakti Charu Swami was bittersweet. We miss him so much, yes. And we can remember him through these wonderful bhajans. Sharina says, thank you for the class. The seminar needs to be extended to spend more time for Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's song. They are very deep, yes. And this is just, this seminar is just the first version. You could have version after version after version after version. It's an ocean of glories that are there, and we can extend that in so many different perspectives and from so many different angles. So yes, this is version 1. Uttara Rani says, thank you for the amazing class. Thank you very much. Vishaka says, thank you, Prabhuji, for understanding 100%. Thank you. Krishna Kirtan says, thank you, very much appreciated. And Vanasagri says, Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you very much for a brilliant lecture. So thank you very much for your wonderful association. I was telling Madhudasi, it's challenging to speak online because I'm seeing my face and I'm seeing the screen. When I give, I want to speak to the devotees, right? I want to see the devotees, so it becomes a little challenging, and understand the circumstance. But yes, it would be lovely to be with all the devotees, so I can see the response. I can, Krishna then reciprocates even to a greater extent. I gave the one talk. Online, you can transmit the knowledge. But online, you can never transmit the emotion or the feeling that one can experience in association of devotees. Right? You may get some of the emotion that filter through, but really, the devotee association physically, that is powerful, because now it's not just devotees physically coming together, it's hearts coming together. And when hearts come together in Sankirtan, in glorification of Krishna, magic happens. We can feel. So therefore, that is very, very powerful. So thank you very much. Mother Lorraine as well. Beautiful present, straight to the heart. Thank you. We feel your emotion, passion in Krishna Katha. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Prabhu, I would just wonder on that note that we do feel you, we do hear you, so don't feel disheartened that you're not with us. We on the other side, but definitely we do hear you and feel you. Eh?
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, one question I wanted to ask.
Please.
You mentioned you associate with all these devotees, right? So is it good to compare, or is it not? Like when you
So comparing, Bhagavatam says we should compare those who are advanced, we should seek their blessings. Those who are equal, we should befriend. Those who are new, we should be compassionate. And those who are envious, we avoid. So that's the comparison we can do.
Okay.
And another aspect of is no matter which, so let's consider, even if we take all the devotees that are online here, I can guarantee you that every single devotee here has a certain quality and trait that's better than me, even if it's by 1%. There's a certain trait of every single devotee here that is definitely even greater than what I have, even if it's just by 1%, right? Which means that if I associate with that devotee, I can get that 1%. Like Narad Muni, when Hanuman said, I want to be a better singer than you, Narad Muni didn't say, oh, wait. If you want to be a better singer than me, then what I'm going to do? Yeah, then Krishna is going to want yours. No. And he blessed him. Yes, you'll be a better singer than me. So there's no envy. So we're happy to serve and associate every single devotee to get their blessing so that we can, get even their 1% good association. And as long as you put Krishna in the center, then that association is valuable and wonderful. As soon as you bring what we're going to discuss tomorrow, pretty cool, things which are unfavorable, then that becomes destructive. Is that okay?
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you, everybody.
Rasaraj Prabhu says, you sure keep us wrapped in attention and spiritually alive. Thank you. Keep blessing me that I can continue doing this and serving the devotees. In that way, I can be benefited myself. Thank you.
So, Prabhu, I think the last part of the program is now we treat the Go Matas, which is also something favorable to the Lord, right?
Definitely. Serving, so consider serving the paraphernalia of Krishna. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, whenever I see any of the paraphernalia of Krishna, it reminds me of Krishna. It's favorable. Cows are extremely favorable personalities. Govinda. Krishna is the lover of cows. He is a coward boy. And because he's a coward boy, just like somebody that's a shepherd, he loves sheep. Somebody who's a coward boy, he loves cows. And therefore, just by seeing cows, by caressing cows, by serving cows, this is extremely favorable and it attracts Krishna's attention. Therefore, the services that you and your family are doing, this is extremely beneficial for devotional service. Yeah, it's glorious. It's wonderful. And another aspect, devotee also mentioned, it's about the feeling, right? That feeling needs to eventually be brought into our services. I need to be happy. I need to feel that this is wonderful. And with cows, that feeling comes naturally. So it's a wonderful service. So just by getting darshan of the cows during the month of Kartik, it's a blessing. And these 5 days, last 5 days, they're even more potent, more powerful in the month of Kartik. So Krishna, he gives us a bonus during the month of Kartik. Then he gives us even a greater discount to get devotion. Krishna is, Prabhupada says, more eager to get us than we are eager to get him. And this is wonderful. So yes, let us take darshan of the cows.
Okay. If you could just unshare, then I can put a full screen.
Bell is ringing.
Here we go. Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Thank you, Prabhu, for the class. We'll see you again tomorrow evening at 6:30. Please join us again. Hare Krishna. Have a
Hare
good
Krishna.
evening.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.